Hi and Assalamualaikum to our panelists. I will be presenting my legal research on the topic of criminalisation of black magic as statutory offence in Malaysia. And my name is Shahrul Ashraf. I'm the final year student from Management and Science University Shah and I'm pursuing in Bachelor in Law and Commerce. So for the first chapter, we will go for the abstract. The topic is founded for the purpose of instilling awareness in regard to the crime of the black magic that had lived within our society longer than the law itself, yet had no law to punish it. It is necessary to investigate how it can similarly to be established into the penal code as a criminal offence. A few that were found to be relevant are insanity, mistake, involuntary intoxication, and so on. Implementing laws on the black magic is something feasible in Malaysia with uncompromising regard to morality, religious respectability, and social harmony among Malaysians. The implementation is necessarily as the country practices diversity of culture and religion. So for the introduction, referring to the Cambridge English Dictionary, black magic is defined as a type of magic or supernatural ability that is believed to use a evil spirit to do a harmful things. Technically, black magic is any effect or act that was achieved with the help of evil spirit or shaitan after the person fulfilled what was demanded by the shaitan or evil spirit in exchange for what the intended occurrences. In Malaysia, customary practices, it may be described as an archaic practice of being done with a bad intention to gain something which is logically impossible, or merely to make someone or something in favor of their own benefit. So, through this legal research studies, black magic through a legal perspective, the researcher have a global comparison which is with the three countries. The first one is from United Kingdom, the second one is from India, and the third one is from Brunei Darussalam. So for the first one, the United Kingdom Parliament passed the Witchcraft Act 1542, which defined witchcraft as a crime punishable by death. It was repealed 5 years later, but restored by a new act in 1562. A further law was passed in 1604 during the James I, who took a keen interest in demonology and even published a book on it. The 1562 and 1604 Act transferred the trial of witches from the church to the ordinary court. The reason was to have a trial on witchcraft, a proper due process, since ordinary court have a better jurisdiction and law governing offences. In total, around 513 witches were put on trial there between 1560 to 17, although only 112 were executed. The last known execution took place in Devon in 1685. The last trial involving witchcraft and wizardry were held in Leicester in 1717. Second one, the state of Maharashtra, India. Maharashtra Prevention and Eradication of Human Sacrifice and Other Inhuman, Evil and Abhorrent Practices and Black Magic Act 2013 was introduced by the state of Maharashtra. The law is also known as the Anti-Black Magic and Superstition Act 2013. The provision that criminalize black magic along with its punishment are under Section 3, Subsection 1, stated that no person shall either himself or through any other person commit, promote, propagate, or practice human sacrifice and other inhuman, evil, and abhorrent practices and other black magic mentioned or described in the schedule appended to this Act. Subsection 2 stated, punishment is not less than 6 months, may extend up to 7 years with fine, not less than 5,000 rupees, which is approximately RM 270, and may extend to 50,000 rupee, which is approximately 2,700 ringgit Malaysia. And under subsection 4, it is stated that this black magic offence is non-bailable offences. So the third one is Brunei Darussalam. The Sultan of Brunei Darussalam, Sultan Hassan al-Bolkiah, introduced Sharia Hudud law as the governing law for criminal offences. Provision on black magic and wizardry was introduced in the Sharia Penal Code Order 2013 to punish those who committed under murder by black magic. Section 151 stated that it defines black magic as not spell, chant, word, or specific expression or special means, special name spoken or written to cause harm to the body, heart, or mind of the person, asking for or seek help from Iblis, Satan, jinns, evil spirits, ghosts, and so on. Section 152, the provision governing punishment for the black magic, stated that anyone who causes death by black magic and proven by admission shall be punished with death. One might question what the punishment for the offender will be convicted of the Section 152 if the crime was proven by way other than the admissions. The answer lies in subsection 2 para A, where the person who commits intentionally murder and proven by evidence other than the admission may be punished with 100,000 Brunei dollar, approximately 300,000 ringgit Malaysia, or imprisonment not exceeding 25 years old, 25 years or both. So moving on to the problem statement, where it is ill effects often cause suffering and misery to the victim in the long run. Black magic will not only result in the breakdown of the individual, black magic known to break up family unities and tear the fabric of social apart. The problem that lead to the topic is on how the legislation always enact new laws whenever a new crime was found, but chooses to ignore the crime of black magic regardless of it being perennial up to this modern day. So for the research objective, there are 3 research objectives. The first one is to highlight and discuss the negative impact of black magic and witchcraft in the social framework. To investigate important aspects which include the existence of black magic, fake magician, unawareness of people, media impact, and waste of time because of the black magic. The third one is to study the possible reason why black magic still thrives today, and conclude by offering viable recommendation to help ease the situation, if not to eliminate this practice altogether. For the research question, the first one is whether the negative impact from the black magic will affect the society or not. Second one, whether black magic is a crime in the present day, and do Malaysia have any provision regarding the black magic? And the last one, whether Malaysia should legislate a new law regarding the black magic. So for the literature review, although specific law relating to the black magic crime have not yet been established, the study attempts to make forward-looking analysis based on the data currently available by referring to the book and seminar materials. Yusuf Al-Qadarawi, Wahid Abdul Salam Bahi, and Ibn Qudamah have expressed the meaning of the black magic that can be summed up as a knowledge learned from the teacher who are skilled with witchcraft through the practice of obedience contrary to the Islamic faith. Based on research done by Abdul Razak Naufal, Umar Sulaiman Al-Ashkar, and Walter Faber, the practice of the black magic has been going on since time immemorial. Witchcraft is a global in nature, exists in various aspects of society around the world regardless of the position of a country, either backward or advanced. The above opinion was supported by Donald Harper, who, according to the author, During the Han Dynasty, there were rulers who made their palace the site of a gathering of witches and the existence of law relating to the black magic. According to Muhammad Mustafa Al-Hadidi Al-Tahir, in Islamic civilization, scholars are of the opinion that witchcraft has begun to take root since the time of Prophet Idris alayhi salam, when the angel Harut and Marut in Babylon state is now known as the state of Iraq. According to Ahmad Dasuki Abdul Rani and Hanafi Rahman, the practice of the black magic can be identified based on the sign and type of the black magic aimed at the victim. The purpose of the black magic is aimed at the victim due to the feelings of envy, jealousy, and love that exist in human being. Mahyuddin bin Ismail discussed the admissibility of implementing the Black Magic Crime Act in Malaysia by discussing issue and the challenges to the implementation of the law. Based on the Mahyuddin research, the authors are of the opinion that the proactive measure should be taken close to the door, which is the pathway to the prevalence of the black magical practice by establishing a specific law relating to the black magic crime. Mahyuddin also discussed the issue of marriage and divorce due to the influence of black magic. Claims of black magic can be used as a defense in divorce cases in the Sharia court through the opinion of Shara in relation to the defense in an imperfect state of mind. Nur Azian binti Abdul Rahman, in his study entitled Methodology of Prosecution and Proof of the Black Magic based on Sharia Facts and Signs, emphasized the aspect of witchcraft proving true signs and symptoms of black magic when they are physically visible, effects either by the victim or those around the victim, such as bruises that have bite marks, swelling on the limbs, and so on. When signs or symptoms of black magic can be detected, investigation will be carried out by combining Sharia and science method. Meanwhile, according to Zulfaqar Ramli Saad in his article entitled Prosecution of Black Magic Crime, Principle of Proof and Evidence of the Sharia Court, the principle of proving enshrined the Sharia Court Evidence Act can be applied in the black magic offences to curb the phenomenon. In addition, the author have also outlined the evidence that can be taken based on forensics evidence by accepting the result of DNA tests in the court. For research methodology, there are several methodologies used. The methodology of the study is divided into two stages, namely the stage of data collection and data analysis. At the data collection stage, firstly, through research in the library, this research includes making detailed references by referring to the various resources available in the library such as textbook, cases, legal act, article, papers, theses, and journals that have been published. For data analysis, researchers use inductive and deductive method to analyze the data obtained as a result of data collection method through extinction research and field study. Researchers have reviewed the legal provision related to the cases with the title of the study. The relevant statutes include the Evidence Act of Sharia Law, Penal Code, and Evidence Act. Researchers also make references and views of academic writing as important sources of references in this study, such as articles in the Law Journal, Sharia Journal, IKIM Law Journal, conferences, article or seminar, and information from the website to understand the description of the black magic practices and their impact on the family, institution, and society. The second methodology used is the fieldwork or interview. An interview is a face-to-face or online interaction caused by the COVID-19 pandemic that prevent interview being viewed face-to-face between interviewers and respondent. Interviews were conducted with the aim of obtaining information from respondents of orally study. To obtain more accurate and clear information, researchers use interview method using structured and semi-structural technique to obtain the necessary information. Several respondents associated with this topic have been identified and will be interviewed for the purpose of obtaining information related to the criminal law of black magic. This fieldwork also includes going to the Islamic Medical Center to see for themselves the experiences of those involved in witchcraft of black magic. The respondent interview consisted of three categories, where the first category is consisting the academician with knowledge of law, Islamic criminal law, and legal practitioner. The second category consists of Islamic medical practitioners. The final category consists of victims of black magic who have experienced black magic disorder. The third methodology that is no less important is online or virtual research. This includes references to scholarly and official blog, website of relevant bodies, report, statistics, and even videos found on the website of this black magical crime. This inductive method is applied by analyzing data through thinking pattern by drawing conclusion from things of a special nature to reach the public. This deductive method is applied by analyzing data through thinking pattern by drawing conclusion from things of a general nature to reach specific subject, which are then analyzed to form formulas relating to a method study. For the sampling, a subset or even a sample of the entire population might be defined as a collection of individuals. In terms of sampling, it is defined as a method of picking subset of a population such as organization and individuals. For this research, the targeted community are the residents of Seremban and Shah Alam, as well as the people who have the experience regarding the black magic. Targeted residents are around 150 people took part in this research as the sample. However, due to the current situation on the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, in order to maintain the social distancing and follow the movement control order by the government, the researchers had distributed the questionnaire survey via online, that is through link. Based on the survey questionnaire that were conducted, the aim is firstly to investigate and determine the issue and the factor on why black magic still occurs nowadays. Secondly, the awareness and insight of the public at large, and lastly, the recommendation and measure that can be taken. As a result, there are two sorts of sample design to consider when determining the sampling design, which is probability and non-probability. Non-probability types of sample design will be applied and used for these research aims. This form of non-probability sampling method are used to identify and obtain finding and result for this research by sampling only a portion, sub-range, or even a group that can be represent the entire community or even population. Researchers are using non-probability sampling, which is an example of convenient sampling because it requires a segment of population to identify the entire of population. We move on to data analysis. This chapter will discuss the analysis of our research topic, which is the issue of criminalize the black magic as statutory offence in Malaysia, in which we will identify the issue and challenges that are most relevant to our research study, as well as some recommendation and effective measure that can be implemented in response to the issue. The challenges to criminalize black magic as statutory offence in Malaysia have been investigated based on our data gathering process, interviewing, and data analysis, which have been meticulously observed, recorded, and structured. Data from quantitative research and qualitative research is collected, analyzed, interpreted, and explained by methodical conduct, which is the next step in the research process. The finding of the study will be presented first as an analysis of the quantitative and qualitative data collected through the questionnaire and interviewing people who have knowledge in this field. For this research, researchers apply the qualitative method in order for the researcher to record data based on the structured questionnaire, and it will be presented as according to the variety section of the questionnaires. The qualitative method applied for the researcher to record data based on the interviewing with the people who have the knowledge about the black magic as well as with the people who have the experience with the black magic. So for the first research question, whether the negative impact from the black magic will affect the society or not, we found the reported cases for this research question, which is in the case of PP against Mat Saad Mat Isa, where in this case it is a murder cases and the accused is convicted of the murder under section 302 of the penal code and can be sentenced to 20 years in the prison. However, when analyzed, the fact of the case indicated that there was a black magic incident used by the accused to the victim, but the attempt failed and the victim was later killed. However, the case was not convicted because of the existence of an element of black magic, as there was no evidence to be presented in court. For the article opinion, lawyer Muhammad Hayatuddin Muhammad said that black magic criminal law can be established if the initial constraints such as method for prosecutor proof that magic element can be solved. He said if this black magic criminal law can be established, it could also save the faith of Muslims. In my opinion, there are many negative impacts rather than good impact from the black magic that affect our society. The issue of the tendency among the Malay community to use the service of shaman who are using the black magic, especially for the divination, even though it is against the teaching of Islam. The purpose of the black magic is aimed at the victim due to the feelings of envy, jealousy, and love that exist in human being. There are various types of magic, such as parental black magic or divorce, that occurs in order to tear down family institution. Besides that, black magic pukau often occurs either through the eyes and touch, which render a person incapable of reacting, while loving magic causes the victim of the black magic to overlove and give obedience to his partner. And for the last research question, whether black magic is a crime in the present day and do Malaysia have any prohibition regarding to the black magic? Unfortunately, Malaysia do not have any law or provision regarding the black magic, but we can compare it to the other country based on the previous slide that I have shared with you guys and what have I explained earlier. There are 3 countries that we can compare, which is the first one is United Kingdom, the second one is State of Maharashtra, India, and the third one is Brunei Darussalam. For the reported cases, we have a woman who is Leong, was hypnotized into parting with RM56,000 in cash by her employee for the expansion of the furniture factory businesses. Leong said, "What I remember is that my employee uttered sweet sentences into my ears, making me obey all wishes without my knowledge. The next day, after making a police report, the employee could not be traced. It is also important to note that black magic practitioner might occur or be conducted in or during another crime. For instance, burglary, in which black magic is used to make the victim unconscious or hypnotized while they rob them." For the article opinion, ACCIN stated that their view that the black magic criminal law was enacted immediately by detailing the method of investigation and proving. Legal and constitutional expert from the International Islamic Universities Malaysia, IIUM, Associate Professor Dr. Khairul Azmin Mokhtar, said this is because Until now, there is no one or expert can be responsible for the process of carrying out the black magic crime in the country. He said there should be a procedure specifically establishing for the prosecution and proving of black magic crime. Sorry. Thus, he said, in order to ensure transparency of the investigation and the reliability of the evidence presented, it was suggested that a special investigative body to be established. It is up to name the investigating body as a Black Magic Criminal Investigation Department or any name as it deemed appropriate under the police. So in my opinion, Malaysia do not have any act or enactment regarding the black magic crime. This is because no authority can confirm that the black magic took place other than the Islamic practitioner. Act of magic have occurred in the society from the past to the present. However, proof that there is an element of such crime which is still seen as difficult, especially to be brought to the court. For me, it is not impossible for the criminal law to be established because Brunei has already introduced this criminal offence under Section 152 of the Sharia Criminal Punishment Code Order Brunei Darussalam. And I'm sorry, this is the last research question, and before this is the second research question. So the last research question is whether Malaysia should legislate a new law regarding black magic. So for the reported cases, in the recent cases, I'm sure all of us know the case of Zulfarhan, and I'm sure that some of us are not aware about this, the facts of the case that it is involved the black magic, where the father of the cadet Zulfarhan, Osman Zulkarnain, stated today that his son would still be alive if not for a bomoh or a shaman who claimed that his son stole a laptop. The father, Zulkarnain Idrus, saying that the shaman had no proof for his accusation, instead just pulling a few superstitious stunts. During the murder trial in May 2018, bomoh or shaman Abdullah Matsay told the court he received sign that Zulfarhan had stolen the laptop. He said he saw a vision of Zulfarhan's name and that he signed and that the sign were from his own intuition. So we can see from here, even though we know that Abdullah Matsay is using the black magic, but we can do nothing about it because there is no any law regarding to the black magic, and he is free while it is unfair for the Zulfarhan and his father. The next case is a few months ago, where a man aged 23 who used a black magic to separate a married couple by using a post laju at Georgetown. A fire was seen by neighbor from a condominium unit in Bukit Besaran, Bukit Gambir, Telugu, where a man was believed to have performed a cult early Thursday morning. The fire officer, together with the police, checked at the unit, found a smell of smoke coming from the house, and they opened the door with a special rescue equipment. As soon as the door opened, there was a young man suspected of being in the cult, and there was no fire. It is understood that during the operation, authorities found various equipment for the cult activity, such as statues and candles. Not only were ceremonies found, but pictures of the couple were also printed to make spiritist magic. The scene also appeared to be full of blood. For the article opinion, Hasniza Husaini, where in his article Wujudkan Undang-Undang Jenayah Ilmu Sihir, Sinar Harian March 17, 2021, where the author opinion Sinar Harian observation found cases where individuals suffer harm due to the black magic which cause conflict or even death. Even element of black magic often being reported to have occurred amongst businesses, married couples, celebrities, and politicians. While in other article written by C. Aruno, Martin Carvalho, and R. Aribitan. In his article, Dabbling in Black Magic to Become an Offence, the Star, March 8, 2021, where the author opinion, Dr. Mahyuddin Ismail, said the draft on the procedures to initiate investigation into those involved in black magic practices actually began in 2015 and will also include forensic evidence. So in my opinion, Malaysia should legislate a new law regarding the black magic since it will protect victims who were affected. The implementation of the criminal law is expected to bring witchcraft practitioners to justice and punish those who involved in the same punishment as they should. We can justify black magic as a crime based on the provision from the penal code, where I will explain it more on the next slide, where we found that there are two crimes that we can justify black magic as a crime based on the provision from the penal code, which is the first one is killing and injuring, and the second one is using black magic for theft. So for finding, justifying black magic as a crime based on the provision of penal code, the first one, killing and injuring, where the offense of wrongfully killing a person as stated in section 299 and the offense of murder in section 300 contain the word intention and knowledge, which are the required mens rea for these offenses. When contrasted with the wrongdoing of black magic, an individual who needs to cause somebody demise by way of this has intention, and this can be witnesses from the type of the black magic and material used. For instance, if the worship needle or blade is cut into the piece of the heart of mind of the doll, planned to be the person in question at that point, in very may be reason that the black magic practitioner did to be sure to execute the person in question. The second one is using black magic for the theft. When comparing the offense of stealing as provided in section 378 of the penal code, stealing through black magic is also fulfill all the elements specified in the said section. This offense involves the taking of someone's property fraudulently without the person's consent. The victim will experience restlessness and vomit blood, rusty needle and nail, as well as human and bamboo hair. Preacher Ustaz Dato' Al-Kazim Ilyas recently admitted someone cast black magic which is santau on him. It was not the first time he suffered from the unexplainable illnesses. Even medical doctor cannot explain his condition. On June 13, Hainan Metro reported that sorcery was widely practiced by certain quarters in modern Malay society. It was shocked to find out that out of 94,000 patients treated for spiritual illness in 2019 at the Pusat Rawatan Darushifa Islamic Healing Center, 44,000 were believed to have been victims of the black magic. Its head of research and development, Dato' Abdul Rashid Ahmad Amin, said most patients were women who sought spiritual cleansing at 90 of its centers. Moving on to the case law on the black magic in Malaysia, there are some of the case regarding to the black magic in Malaysia. The first one is Mustafa bin Bacha against A. Habibah. The Court of Appeal, the appellant claimed that he uttered talaq in the condition where he was not even aware of his senses, basically because he was affected by witchcraft. According to him, the witchcraft disturbance started after he got a canteen tender in the factory. Since then, his thought became disturbed, and he felt hatred and anger toward his wife without any reason. He also hit his wife, even though he did not even realize what he was doing. In the condition where he was out of his mind, He made the application to divorce his wife. He later found a strange package in white clothes at his canteen. He then appealed to the court to re-evaluate his three-time divorce talaq, which has been recorded by the court before that. The Court of Appeal judge decided that the case was not heard truly and ordered it to be heard again because of the failure of the judge of Sharia lower court to get an expert opinion, which is Rokiul Al-Khabir, regarding to this issue. The learned judge suggested that the treater who treated him is called in to gain his expert opinion. For the conclusion of this case, the encouragement by the learned judge in this case should be seen as pivotal, since it addresses the importance of proving a specific guideline in the hearing of the such cases in order to save marriages from the black magic. The next case, I'm sure that all of us know, since it was one of the famous cases in Malaysia. The case name is Juraimi bin Hussein against PP Muhammad Afendi Abdul Rahman and others against PP. Court of Appeal, where this is the most popular witches cases. Mona Fendi and her disciple Juraimi, who was charged with the murder of the late Datuk Mazlan. One of the confession made by Juraimi in the court was, I chopped his neck 3 times to separate the head from the body. I also cut Mazlan's body into pieces before burying his remains. The defense was raised by him was that he was out of consciousness, purportedly hypnotized by Mona Fendi to obey her instruction. The court, however, could not accept such defense as there are no specific provision in the law. The court only focuses on aspects of the admissible evidence which may be factually and logically proven. There are also some cases relating to the witchcraft and black magic. The first one is Sabaruddin bin Non and others against PP, where in this case it mentioned in the court that Santa was used as a means to kill the disease. And the other cases is Riwan Nosuriya, where the respondent claimed that her consent to the marriage was obtained while she was under the magic spell. So this is the recent attempt to legislate black magic law in Malaysia, where the most recent at the time of this writing submitted report of the progress on the attempt to legislate black magic as a crime in Malaysia was in Sinar Harian news report. Sinar Harian observation found cases where individuals suffer harm due to the black magic, which causes conflict or even death. Even element of black magic often being reported to have occurred amongst businesses, married couples, celebrities, and politicians. The chairman of Allied Coordinating Committee of Islamic NGO, ACCI, and Abdul Razak Mahadi was reported to have stated that criminal law on black magic should be introduced specially to protect victims who were affected. Another recent report on the attempt that can be referred to a news reported by the Star where University Malaysia Pahang Humanitarian Science Centre Deputy Dean Dr. Mahyuddin Ismail said the draft on the procedure to initiate investigation into those involved in black magic practices actually began in 2015 and will also include forensics evidence. He cited an example where some couple blamed the use of the black magic as the reason for the divorce. With such law in place, Mahyuddin said a third party could be called in to give evidence if such claims were true. With the push being very recent, especially in the COVID period and the flood, it is very difficult and lacks of urgency for it to be legislated. Still, this writing is meant not to be pushed, but to instill awareness as to cue the matter for the future consideration. So for the conclusion, demonic possession or similar incidents frequently occur in Malaysian society. Sorry. We often hear of mass hysteria involving schoolgirls. The words are evil spells purposely sent by begrudging individual through a bomoh or shaman to destroy another person. In many cases, the black magic was sent with the intent of splitting a married couple or destroying a person's happiness. A begrudging individual can send santau, a type of black magic, by spitting lightly into the wind to poison a person. There are always a gray area between medical science and black magic, as many are skeptical about black magic. Some say there are no scientific evidence to prove that black magic invariably involve mysticism and supernatural being. Muslims believe in jinns and other spiritual beings as they are all are the creature of the god. When a person experiences demonic possession, many don't take it lightly. They will go for ruqyah treatment, and it will take one to witness a horrifying demonic possession to believe it. With the surge in COVID-19 cases over the past 2 years, more are suffering the spiritual illness, including psychiatric disorder, such as schizophrenia, that some ruqyah practitioners believe stem from disturbances from spiritual being. Black magic is now a criminal offence in Kelantan, and it is one of the new offences listed under the Kelantan Sharia Criminal Code Enactment 2019, which come into the force on November 1. The law defined 24 new offences, including falsely claiming to be a prophet, attempting to renounce Islam, necrophilia, bestiality, having tattoos, disobeying parent, gambling, underweighing of good, and homosexual activities. Rashid revelation suggests that there are many sick people in this time and age, not in number of the victim, but the people who indulge in the black magic. We often hear divorce are caused by the couple, by the black magic, and that there's a third party who casts the evil spell to split the couple. There are also men who send a mandram, evil spell, when women rejected them for a marriage. Oh dear, what kind of a world are we living in now? I think that we are in a modern world. We have the technology, we have evolved, and we should use it wisely, and we should stop using black magic as one way for us to get something we want. Instead of that, we can use the technologies, we can use many other ways. And we need to stop this by having a new law to criminalize black magic as a statutory offence in Malaysia. I agree that black magic is the easiest way to get something that we want. For example, if we want to be famous, or we want to be rich, or we want to be successful, we can easily get it by using the black magic. But the consequences that we bear is the worst that we can think of, since there will be required a soul for a soul, and they will take, for example, our family or our friends' life in order to achieve what we want by using the black magic. So the consequences that we bear is beyond that we can imagine, and it is not worth it to lose something to get something. So I think that's all from me. Thank you so much for listening, and have a nice day ahead. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.